Hello YouTube. I want to give you a quick thought about the Ray Mears Outdoor Survival Handbook. Not really a review, but I'll give you my thoughts about this book. I read it some time ago, and I think it's a really nice book or guide. It is very light. It's very light. If you compare it with the SAS handbook, I think it is. This one is twice or maybe more heavy than this. I think this is triple the weight. But yeah, this is the Ray Mears Outdoor Survival Handbook. The pages are not waterproof like those of the SAS, but this is not really. It says survival handbook, but this is more of a bushcraft book. This is not the kind of book you will take with you for if you might get into a survival situation. Then you will take the SAS survival handbook. I've read this book just like a regular book. I will never do that with this. I only read pieces of the SAS handbook only when I need them. When I'm interested in something, I can look it up here. I learned a bit of stargazing from this book. But yeah, back to Ray Mears. I really loved his programs on bushcraft and survival, and he is really the reason why I'm doing bushcraft. Sorry. So yeah, Ray Mears is the reason why I'm doing bushcraft. And what I really like about this book is the order that the stuff is put in, if you know what I mean. So there's a funny quote here from Ray Mears. "For my parents, who made my learning possible and suffered piles of sticks, bundles of bark fibers, wood shavings, smelly skins, and decayed fungi for too long." Funny. So yeah, the book starts with the contents, and as you can see, it is separated by spring, summer, autumn, and winter. So that is what I really liked about this book, is that well, if you're doing spring bushcraft, you just read the chapter of spring, and you will get everything you need to know about spring and well, spring season bushcraft. And of course, this is for this book is for Western Europe. I don't think when you live overseas, well, not. There's a lot of information you can use about weaving and cordage making stuff, but the edible plants and stuff do not grow overseas. I think maybe some of them do, but well, there's still a lot of interesting stuff you can read. So it started off with spring, summer, autumn, and winter, and in every chapter it has some of the most seasonal orientated things, like for cordage making, as example. I think the best time for cordage making is in autumn, if I'm right. Yes, autumn, because the fibers are most tough in that season, so it's really nice. Starts off with an introduction, and Then there's a chapter about the kit, your clothing, your personal kit, what you should take on a survival, or well, not really survival, because you will not have this kind of stuff on a survival trip, but the kind of stuff you should take on a bushcraft trip or on a long weekend in the bush, outdoor camping and stuff. So that's really nice. Some things about cover, different sorts of tents, different sorts of cutting tools, navigation is covered, really nice. As you can see, using maps. Natural indicators of direction, so that is quite handy for survival situations. So yeah, and every chapter starts with a nice story about the season and what Ray Mears really likes about that season. And as you read it, you can really hear Ray Mears' voice in your head, if you have a good imagination like me. Well, starts about the animal kingdom. I believe it does that in every chapter. What kind of animals? Yeah, animal kingdom is in every chapter. So in the winter, he covers the tracks, because in winter you can see the tracks best. And yeah, so that's also not winter. He does the tracks in spring. All right. So here's some tracks. Really nice. We like tracking. Of course, not all animals in here, but the most common. Shelter, that is also covered in every season. So you get a spring shelter, a winter shelter, a summer shelter and stuff. Every season there's a shelter. So in the colder seasons, the shelters are really orientated to keep you warm, and the summer shelters are more for enjoying the night skies and stuff, keeping dry. So yeah, there's a fire making. Also in every chapter, so different kinds of fire making, and those are also orientated on the seasons. Everything is orientated on the seasons, and that is really nice. So you can see in spring still a little bit wet, so he uses ground cover for his fire to put his tinder on some wooden stakes and sat on the moist ground. Different kinds of tinder you can find in spring. I really found I really got my knowledge about tinders from this book. It's really nice, and of course from the series, but tells you how to make friction fire, sparks, fire, different methods of fire. Really nice. Learned a lot of handy stuff with it. This is this is what I looked at when I first started making a friction fire, and this is really a good guide. So there's a chapter about water. Yeah, this is a really seasonal chapter. This is only happening in spring. It's called When the Sap Flows. So in this chapter, he shows you how to make or how to get the sap from birch trees, and also some nice things to know, like how the Native Americans made some sugary candies by boiling down the birch sap to a kind of syrup. So yeah, cordage. I think cordage might be in every season also. That's really nice. Birch bark, what you can use it for, you can make stuff with it and stuff. The pursuit of food, tells you a little bit about the food, the seasonal food. Here's some salads and greens you can find in spring, and he has that for every season. So I will not cover every season, just this spring season, because every chapter will be more like the same but with different stuff, and of course some other seasonal things, bushcraft related activities, drinks and flavorings, and there's the summer. Also another introduction. I love how he writes this. Summer is the season of growth, a time of discovery and learning, with the sun at its strongest. The pace of life changes. The division between the cool of morning and evening and the sultry heat of the midday becomes more marked than at any other time. This is most perceptible in the activity of birds. Their songs grow almost silent as the stifling midday heat forces them to seek shade and stillness. The silence is broken occasionally by the joy of a starling splashing in a cool puddle. So you can really almost see the starling in the woods if you read this. It's really nice. And yeah, the book itself, it's not high quality, so you have to be careful with it. This is a book you're going to take with you on a bushcraft trip. Lie down in your hammock and read this book. And that is really relaxing, and that is what I really like about this book. I didn't buy this book as a survival guide or a guide to take with me for if I or when I might get in a survival situation. I will take this book with me, although this is very heavy. Maybe I can recommend you the pocket edition of John Lofty's Wiseman SAS handbook. This is also a really nice book, and it has color pictures in it, also really nice. It is a bit waterproof, and it has a lot of stuff in it. So I think this book also covers a lot of food in different kinds of areas. So you can use this book when you're in the jungle, or you can use this book when you're in Europe. But I'm not going to talk about the survival handbook. It's one of the most popular survival handbooks. But this is maybe a better name for this book is the Outdoor Bushcraft Handbook, because it has a lot of activities in it that you will not do when you're surviving. Maybe when you are sure about the thing that that you have to survive for months, but this is not the search and rescue survival kind of book. But yeah, I can highly recommend this book. It is fun to read, it is easy to read, and it has very good instructions inside, drawings, very clear drawings, really nice. It has texts on the drawings. And it's really nice. It has some funny things in it. As you can see, knots explained Very nice, very clear. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say about this book. And I hope you enjoyed this video. It's not a knife video or a really bushcraft video, but it is about bushcraft, or at least a bushcraft book. So some of you might be interested in this, and I try to cover as much as possible and as I can think of for my bushcraft channel. Well, at least the things that I'm capable of demonstrating. There are a lot of things I could film, but you guys would just laugh at me. I'm not good at everything. So yeah. Ray Mear's Outdoor Survival Handbook. Really nice. Go get it. Thank you for watching. See you.